morning, this is Francesca Evans from LymeOnline, bringing you up to date with all of this week's news and sport from the local area. The historic Cobb Harbour in Lyme Regis is reportedly set to become the backdrop for another major movie production. It is understood that scenes for Warner Brothers and the Roald Dahl Story Company's upcoming film Wonka will be filmed at the harbour next month, with fishermen and businesses in the area offered a sum to cover disruption to their work. Oscar-nominated actor Timothée Chalamet is set to star as the iconic inventor Willy Wonka in this new adaptation based on characters from the Roald Dahl novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The story will focus on a young Willy Wonka and his adventures prior to opening the famous chocolate factory. Full plot details are unknown, but there are unconfirmed reports that filming in Lyme Regis will include a snow scene on the Cobb, with the steam drifter Lydia Eva visiting the harbour for the production. Built in 1930 and based in Great Yarmouth, the boat is currently moored in West Bay, reportedly ready to visit Lyme Regis on Monday evening ahead of filming next month. This will be the third time in 3 years that Lyme Regis has played host to a major movie production. Scenes from Ammonite, based on the town's famous fossil hunter Mary Anning, were filmed in Lyme Regis in 2019, starring Oscar-winning actress Kate Winslet and Saoirse Ronan. 50 Shades of Grey star Dakota Johnson was spotted in Lyme Regis filming scenes for a new adaptation of Jane Austen's Persuasion in June of this year. The Cobb has previously been included in several versions of Persuasion and most famously featured in the opening scene of The French Lieutenant's Woman, the 1981 film adaptation of Lyme Regis author John Fowler's novel. Lyme Regis Sailing Club continued to celebrate its 100th anniversary last weekend with an impressive sail-past event. Although there wasn't much wind for sailing, the scorching sunshine made for a spectacular sight as dozens of dinghies and cruisers, accompanied by 2 of the town's gigs, the lifeboat crew and harbour master, made their way onto the water. They each sailed past a boat of special guests, including Her Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Dorset, Angus Campbell, and his wife Carola, the Mayor and Mayoress of Lyme Regis, Councillor Brian and Wendy Larkham, and Sailing Club Commodore Rob Wiscombe. Guests then returned to dry land where the celebrations continued with speeches and toasts, while sailors battled the lack of wind to take part in the annual Bart's Bash races, a national event held in memory of Olympic gold and silver medalist Andrew Simpson, to raise funds for his foundation, which supports sailing projects across the globe. Candles on the Cobb, known as one of the most spectacular events in the South West's summer calendar, is set to return to Lyme Regis next year. The Rotary Club of Lyme Regis will stage the event on Sunday, August 28th, with more than 5,000 candles set to light up the town's historic Cobb Harbour, each available to buy in memory of a loved one. It is expected to be particularly poignant after the traumatic effect of the last 2 years during the COVID-19 pandemic. The event has been held 7 times before, raising almost £130,000 for local and national charities and good causes. Further announcements about the 2022 event are expected to be made over the coming months, and you can find the latest on the website shown on screen now. Police are warning residents about a possible scam in a Lyme Regis car park in which 2 women tried to claim money from an elderly resident for supposed damage to their car. An elderly local resident was approached by 2 well-spoken females in a Lyme Regis car park who claimed the resident had damaged their vehicle, pointing to a scratch on one side. They initially said they thought the damage would cost £200 to repair, but later called the resident saying they needed an entire new car door and it would cost £2,000. The resident was alarmed and sceptical, and the incident was reported to the police. Local drivers are warned to stay vigilant, as similar car scams have been reported in other parts of the country, with thieves claiming fellow motorists have damaged their vehicles purely in a bid to obtain cash from them. Officers advise motorists to report scams or attempted scams to the police and action fraud. More than 200 veterans, military service personnel and supporters will be arriving in Lyme Regis this Sunday as they complete a 50-mile sponsored walk from Lulworth Cove. The Jurassic Coast March will raise funds and awareness for the Rifles Regimental Trust's Care for Casualties appeal, supporting those from the Rifles with injuries and PTSD. The march starts at 9:30 a.m. today at Lulworth Cove with a drumhead service in remembrance to those lost. Walkers will be staying overnight in Weymouth and West Bay before finishing in Lyme Regis on Sunday, expected to arrive from 3:30 p.m. They will regroup at Lyme Regis Football Club for refreshments before completing the march together by heading down the Charmouth Road car park steps to East Cliff Walk and along the seafront to the lifeboat station. Lyme Regis granted the freedom of borough to the Dorset Regiment in 1945, and today is one of 12 towns in Dorset which has granted freedom to its successor regiment, the Rifles. The county regiment marched through the town with full band and bugles in September 2018 as part of commemorations to mark 100 years since the end of the First World War. You can donate to the appeal via the website shown on screen now. In local sport, Lyme Regis first team's challenging start to the season continues tomorrow when the Devon and Exeter Premier Division champions Lapford pay their first visit to the Davy Fort. On the last two occasions, the Seasiders have met the Mid-Devon side. They have lost 3-1 in the Premier playoff last season and at Lapford earlier this season. In both fixtures, Lyme gave a good account of themselves and could have come away with a win. Having lost by the odd goal in 7 last week, away to third place Thorverton, Lyme needs to get 3 points in the bag after losing 2 of their opening 3 games to stay in touch with the Premier leaders. They started well against Thorverton last week, going 2 up in the early stages, but then allowed their opponents back in the game, finally losing 4-3 with the last kick of the match. Their goals came from Brad Rowe, Callum Garrett and Josh Staines. Lyme Reserves are going well in Division 3, moving into 4th place last week with a 2-1 win over neighbours Seaton Town. Tomorrow they travel to mid-tablers Central in Exeter. Up Lyme are enjoying their first season in Devon and Exeter football, and with 6 points from 4 games, they sit comfortably in 4th place in Division 6. Tomorrow the Swallows are at home to Seaton Town Reserves in a local derby. Reformed Charmouth have made a good start to life in Division 2 of the Perry Street League, winning both their opening games to take top spot with 10 goals to their credit. Thanks for watching LymeOnline's video news bulletins. You can stay up to date with all the latest news, sport and events throughout the week on the LymeOnline website, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, or sign up to our free weekly newsletter to ensure you never miss a thing. Have a great weekend.